In this episode, we're going to change the front wheel bearing.
You're on the Kodokuna Raida YouTube channel.
I'm not a joyride, a hit and run. I thought I loved you and you thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go.
Okay, well, it's time to change over our front wheel bearing. This one's rusted in there. I can't even turn it over. So, of course, the wheel's got a lot of dirt and muck on it. We've got to clean them all up. But we want to get it onto our bike. So before I do that, we've got to change this bearing over. So there's a bearing one side and a bearing on the other side. So I've got one over here. The new bearing kit's here. So I wanted to show you. In the centre of the two bearings, you have this metal collet. So you've got a bearing one side, that in the centre, bearing other side. Of course, then you've got a seal. And then you've got this goes on here for our drive, for our speedo. And then you've got the other seal. So that's how it all sits together. Now the problem is, when you've got this in the centre like that, it can get very difficult to get something in to knock this bearing out. Because you've got to shift centre shaft over enough so you can get a screwdriver or a drift or something down to knock it on here. You can do it, no problems. Sometimes you've got to give the top bearing a little tap down, which will loosen this even a little bit more. So let's get onto it. So this is the drive shaft side, because you can see these little notches here. That's where the little metal drive goes in for our speedo. So first, just get your screwdriver or something and push the centre, this centre beam that's in there, try and push it over at the bottom. Now, with your screwdriver, you'll be able to feel if you've pushed it over enough. I haven't. Okay, so at the moment, I haven't. I can feel that it's moved a bit, but it hasn't moved enough. So when I have a situation like this, I get a socket or something and I just give the center of this bearing here a little whack. And what it does, sometimes it shocks the other bearing out a little bit, and that allows us to move it. So I'm just going to get a little socket now and a hammer and hit this center of this bearing a bit. So here we go, just in the center. Okay. Oh, it has moved it a bit. I'll give it another hit. Perfect. Let me show you what we've done. Can you see in there that center is being pushed over, which allows me now to get my screwdriver on this edge and hit this bearing out. Can you see? Great. Oh. Okay, so you can see now the bearing is right on this edge, so I need to put something here and here, 2 pieces of wood, because at the moment my wood is resting on the center. So 2 pieces of wood, which will allow that to come right out now. So we want to try and put it here. Don't put it on your disc here and here, because you don't want to bend it. Okay. Oh, we've got it out. There's our bearing. Oh, it's really rusted. Look how bad it is. And there's our center. But now we can knock the other side out. The other bearing. And the good thing about it now, you can just see down inside and knock it out easy. Okay, I can get my big socket down in there, so I'm going to put an extension on here and give it a hit.
I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go. Should I look both ways before you cross me, baby? 'Cause I don't break your voice. I'm moving on.
And there's our bearing out. Okay, we've got the bearings out. You can see there's a bit of rust in there. We've got to clean all that up. Usually you won't see rust in there if you're just changing a bearing, but this has been sitting around for a long, long time. Now, before you slide all your bearings in your bike, this is the front axle. I want to show you something. So you've got to make sure that this slides on easy onto you. So that part slides, look, but it's not sliding all the way in. See that? So this part here is okay, but it's hitting over that side. Can you see the two little birds? So that's stopping that axle sliding on. Now, I have had some guys bring their bikes for me to fix, and they can't get their axles out. And the reason is this part is damaged and it scratched it in, and it's seized in there. And furthermore, what happens, then they go to screw this into the thread of their strut, their front shock. Because that's not sliding through, they strip their alloy on their shock. So be very careful. So here's the one we pulled out of the bike. I see, look, see it slides easy? I mean, it's all greasy and dirty, but it slides easy. Look at that. So we just have to clean it up and it'll be okay. But this one's better. So I'm going to get my file and just clean those burrs off there. And it's nice and clean and it'll slide on easy.
Thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go.
So now, this is going on, no problems. So we're fine. So make sure before you put your bearings back in, this slips over your axle nice and smooth like that, okay? Okay, we're ready to put our wheel back together. Now, it doesn't matter which side you start off with. You've got to put one bearing in first. Now, there's two bearings in the kit. They're both exactly the same size. So it doesn't matter which one you put either way. So just start that there. Now this is the old bearing I pulled out of the bike. I've cleaned it all up. There's no grease or marks or anything on it. So I can just sit that nicely on the top and tap it to get it started. There she goes. Finish it off with the socket. Okay, there's one bearing. Flip it over. Now this goes in. And our bearing.
You thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go.
There we go. Now, great, and our shaft goes straight up and down, no problems. We've got no burrs on it. Now it's time for our seals. So there's two seals. Just touch, just gentle. There we go. Put it back over. Okay, now before we put our seal in, we've got these two plates. So first this one, and you'll see these little one sticking up because that goes onto our speedo drive. It sits in there. See on this spacer here, there's a little lip here. This part, the recess, goes down that way, holds that bottom gear in place. Now we get our new seal and slip it on the top there. Just tap it down gentle. And there we have it. We've got all our new bearings. So this side is where our drive shaft goes for our speedo. On the other side is a little spacer that goes in the seal. Now it's ready to put on the bike. Okay, let's slide this back together. Keeps getting more and more exciting. So on the left hand side, we've got our drive shaft for our speedo. So that goes in there. Make sure these little lugs here line up with your drive, okay? There we go. And on the other side, we've got this little spacer. And you can see here which way it goes because they usually got that little wear mark where they fit into the seal. Just like that. Now sometimes it's a little bit of jiggling around. You've got to line this little lug on your drive shaft here, up on the pin here. Now I've also put a little bit of grease on our drive shaft. The book says put a little bit of grease. Got to make sure you got your spacer in. Now it should just slide together, this pin. Remember, if it doesn't slide in easy, something's wrong. Okay. I've got it all in. Do this up. Just going in easy. You can see that there's no pressure, so everything's fine.
I loved you and you thought I was fun. I'm moving on down the road. Watch me as I go, watch me as I go.
And then you've got a little 12mm bolt that goes in here. It squeezes that together and just locks your axle in. Now, this wheel is going to come off many times before we're finished, so I'm not doing everything up tight now, just putting it back together. And this, there we go. We've got a front wheel on. This plastic fender, that's not painted, that's just the colour they come naturally. But looks nice. And the bike's coming together again. So thanks a lot. Always remember, drive like you know each other. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye. Oh. Anybody can change that front wheel bearing with one can of Coke easy. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Both ways before you cross me, baby, 'cause I don't break for